and welcome to the episode of DIOTALK. I'm Dio. Let's talk. My guest of the evening is all the way from Britain. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, well, I'm actually from Britain, yeah, but I'm from England.
Oh, England. There you go.
Territorial.
Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to Mark Coope. Welcome to the show, man. How are you?
I'm very well, Deal. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited. I'm here. Thank you for joining me from all the way over there. I know the time difference is kind of hectic, but you're here, and that's what is important. And I'm eager to hear your story.
Yeah, it's way past my bedtime over here now. It's like just gone into tomorrow now for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, my story. What would you want to know?
But I want to know, like, I want to know a little bit about everything, right? You have this amazing story that you overcame, and that helped you start some transitions to some things. I want to give you the floor to kind of elaborate more on that.
Okay, yeah, that's no problem. I'm Mark Coope. I'm 63 years old. I've been married to Rachel now for just short of 25 years. We've got three kids and we've got three grandkids.
Nice.
And a dog. The grandkids are great. You can just give them back. You can wind them up and give them back. I have my own business, or I had my own business, repairing HP design jets, which are basically big architect printers that do the posters and stuff like that. When I was younger, I played rugby league for around about 20 years for a local amateur club. Probably
Nice.
the best level you could play at, just below you go professional. So I played at a top amateur level, but not a professional level. And then when I finished rugby, I got bored. And at 38-year-old, I decided I wanted to take up jiu-jitsu, which is the
Nice.
traditional Japanese martial art, not the Brazilian one or the MMA. It's actually the traditional Japanese martial art, the one that was formed by the samurais all them years ago. So I did that, and I set myself a challenge. I was 38, and I wanted to be a black belt for the millennium, and before I was 40. So that gave me literally 2 years, 8 months to do it, which is a 4-year program.
Wow.
And I was told it's a 4-year program, and there was no way I could do it. On the 17th of September 2000, I was over at Liverpool WJ World Jiu-Jitsu Federation headquarters, taking my black belt grade in exactly 2 years, 9 months after I started.
Nice.
So it just goes to show that, and that's been something that has stuck with me for a while now, that you can achieve things you want if you're focused enough. I mean, I was lucky I was single at the time. I hadn't met Ray. I met Rach just later on, just towards the end of my training, or not before the black belt. But I was single, so I could train 5 nights a week, you know. And my club was open for 2 nights a week, but I was a bit of a slag, if you pardon the expression. I just went to other clubs and trained there. I was always loyal to my club, but I was a bit of like I say, a bit of a hussy, and I just trained about, so to speak. So I achieved my goal. Yeah, everything was going good. I met Rachel, and she already had a couple of kids from a previous relationship, which she brought with her, obviously. And then we had one between us, and she was born with quite a few problems, quite a few issues. It's so much so that she'd had 21 operations, minor and major, by the time she was 5-year-old.
Wow.
So at that stage, I stopped training, just to, obviously, because she needed help. It wasn't fair. She did it on her own. She had the others. She had her two, which were at the time 6 and 9. Strange names. And then I just stopped training, but then I got out of the habit. And then when Shannon was 14, about 13, 14, she decided she wanted to take up jiu-jitsu. So we went to a club. I started back. And then I got the opportunity to buy the place where Samurai, which I did. I didn't want to, but it was just too good opportunity to
Pass
turn
on,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, and I've been there ever since. COVID aside, it hadn't been for COVID, I've currently trained 15 people from zero to black belt, but that would have been more than double if it hadn't been for COVID. I think we're going to be sending about 8 to black belt grading next year.
Wow.
So it's pretty good. It's good. And we train from 4-year-old up to my age, really.
Wow. So
We have a gym.
you're the owner, the founder now,
No, I'm
of
not the founder. I bought the club, but I'm the owner. I'm
okay,
what's
so you bought the business and well,
I'm the club sensei
uh,
effectively. But I
nice.
have
Well, congrats on that. That's awesome.
but we have I have instructors under, three instructors. One guy who's a seventh Dan is actually under me. It's crazy because I respect him so much. He's a seventh Dan. I'm a short Dan, a single Dan. But he respects the hierarchy. When we go to another club, he's, whoa to me. But when we're at my club, unfortunately, he has to do what I
Yeah.
say, which I don't really do because I give him leeway. I let him have a free rein. I just said, this is what I'd like to achieve today. These, and these. And they just get on with it. They're a great bunch. And I have two other instructors who work with me as well. Plus, I encourage kids to go on coaching courses and do the junior coaching badges and things like that so they can become junior coaches. You've got 14, 12, 13, 14-year-old kids learning to be coaches. It's just great fun. It just gives them so much confidence.
That's amazing. So can you give me because I've never heard of the Samurai Ju-jitsu. You before we started recording, you briefly explained what the martial arts entails. Because I'm a blue belt when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-jitsu.
All right.
So like can you elaborate a
Right.
little bit more on that? Share
We,
some rich history.
we actually train at a dojo now. We rent some space at a dojo where they do the MMA stuff. In fact, they had a bit of a contest going on at Saturday, like this Saturday gone. So we train there, and their style of training is totally different to ours because what I teach with the kids is just get out there, just hightail it. You don't hang around. Don't hang around and fight. You don't need to fight. Fighting's a monkey. If someone attacks you, get out of there. Only fight if you have to.
Yeah.
The origins of traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu is way back in the days of the shoguns and
Hmm.
the samurais. The samurais basically, what the samurai translates into English as servant. So the
Hmm.
samurais were servants. They served the emperor. The emperor. That was their purpose. They served the master, and ultimately served the emperor. Emperor. The purpose of which they were there to keep the peace. They weren't nasty people, but they were proficient at fighting. They were a proficient fighting machine. And if you think about, a lot of people don't understand what traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu is. If you think about judo, everyone knows what judo is about, all the throws and
Hmm.
holds.
Hmm.
If you think about karate, everyone knows what the kicks and punches are in karate. Then if you think about something like not taekwondo, aikido, where they do the locks and blocks, we
Hmm.
all know that. Put the lot together, put the three of them together, and that's basically jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
It's all three disciplines. There is a lot of debate, but from what I've researched is that karate, judo, aikido, and all them came from jiu-jitsu. I'm sure that there'll be a lot of people coming on arguing with me on that, but
Hmm.
that's how I'm meant to understand the evolution of it. Is that you had the jiu-jitsu and then everything else was taken from that and changed. I mean, the karate people, they kick and punch so much better than us. The judo people do throws and hooks so much better than us. The aikido people do the locks and blocks so much better than us. But collectively,
Hmm.
we do it all.
Yeah,
We
I
do.
mean it's only fair because when you're like judo, when you're focusing on one particular, throwing people, that's one thing. Aikido, the locks, you're focusing
Yeah.
on one thing, but in here in your academy, the art essentially is teaching you multiple. So you're not just focusing on one thing, you're uh generalizing the whole art.
Yeah.
So it's understandable.
Yeah, it's great fun, but when you actually see it, in its purest form, when you first start learning it, you think it's so innocuous. You think, how can this actually defend me? How can I defend myself with this?
Hmm.
When you start getting more and more into it, and you see the stuff we do, it's just horrendous. It really is. I mean, I don't teach, like with the Brazilian stuff. A lot of it's grappling on the floor, in it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Fight on the floor, trying to get your submissions and your punches on the floor. And I teach my students never to go on the floor, stay off the floor, strike, and then run and get out of there. I'm basically I'm a coward.
Well, no. So
No, that's what I teach.
yeah, you're teaching into self-defense then, you
Yeah,
know. Like I remember when I first initiated my journey through jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the whole idea is defense. You know, if you're stuck in a negative predicament and you're trying to de-escalate or run away, the whole idea is if somebody tries to grab you, you take that same momentum
yeah,
and use it against them, basically. So
absolutely.
it's
That's
defense, you know. So you're not a coward, you're brave. So
no,
let's set that straight.
that's the I was just having a bit of fun there. That's
Mm.
the same. That's the same with us. I mean, I literally I teach. We do nasty stuff. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't teach kids to just if they go. I have a we have a mantra. We have what we call the three don'ts, which I teach all the time. The first one is don't be there. So if you can get away, get away. You know, back
yeah,
off. Never turn your back on your opponent. Back off till you've got a big enough gap. Turn and tail it down the road. The second don't is don't get hit. So if you get in a situation where you've got to fight, move back, make sure you get your blocks in, and don't let them hit you. And then the third one is don't hesitate. So you're in a situation you can't get away, they've thrown a punch, but don't hesitate. Just hit them with everything.
yeah,
Just,
yeah.
just get all in there. You know, at that stage. They've orchestrated the fight. Just get in there. Just get in there. Strike, get a gap, and then get out again. But
Nice.
usually, I also don't teach to punch to the face. I teach to punch to the solar plexus, which I shouldn't do, but it's far more effective punch.
You mentioned previously when we first initiated scheduling this that was this the thing that helped you with your mindset to overcome anxiety, depression, uh, post-traumatic stress disorder?
No, it was actually part of the problem. When we
Really?
get yeah, when we get into the story now, is February the 17th, 2016.
Wow.
Me, myself, my wife, and my eldest daughter had been out to a friend's 60th birthday party. So we've been having a few drinks and we were enjoying ourselves. And we'd left our 14-year-old daughter, Shannon, at home with some girlfriends. She had some girlfriends, right? You know, pizza and scary movies. You know what
Yeah.
girls are like.
Yeah.
Why do you want to watch a scary movie? Come on. So they've been having pizza and scary movies. One of the girls had phoned a mate, a boyfriend. He'd come round with all his mates. They built into the house, basically trashed the house, stole a lot of. I had a good collection of single malt Scotch whiskies, 12-year-olds, 20-year-olds. They trashed all them, trashed all the bottles of wine and everything.
Wow.
We came home in the taxi. We came round onto the estate looking down, and there was just about 20, 30 kids milling about on the driveway of the house. When I say kids, I mean they were ranged from about 16 to about 22, all milling about on the driveway of the house with bottles of whiskey and stuff. I get out to the taxi and polite, shall we say, I politely inquired what were going on. It wasn't a very polite inquiry.
Yeah, yeah.
I took one step onto the drive, and next thing I know, I was on the floor and trying to figure out what had happened. So I stood up, turned around to face the way I'd just come, and I was on the floor again. And then I stood up a third time, turned around to face where
Well,
see what
where's
so
it coming from?
and what had happened is as I'd walked past this guy, he swung round with a bottle from behind, caught me right across my head, coming across my head, right
Wow.
across my nose, smashed my nose, split my head open. That was the first one. So I got up to turn around to face him. His mate hit me on the back of the head with a bottle. And
Wow.
then I turned around to face him just as he swung the bottle again, which I had some sort of muscle memory, whatever you want to call it, some sort of wits about me where I blocked the bottle, I blocked the arm, and I hit him with a palm heel on his jaw. This is sickness. And his jaws are like,
Broke.
and then all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. It was
Wow.
horrendous. But at the time when I was on the floor, I knew I was being kicked. I was being kicked on the floor. All hell broke loose, and it seemed like it lasted about 15 minutes, but realistically, it probably only lasted about less than that, about 60 seconds, really. But I was in a bad way. The two
Wow.
bottles had scrambled my brain. So I did everything that I teach my kids not to. I'd walk right into the middle of the melee. I didn't step back to assess the situation. I just went straight in, weren't even thinking.
I mean,
If I
yeah, nobody could judge you. Your kids were there, young, especially girls were there.
yeah,
So like, it's like going into a fire. You didn't have time to dissect the situation. All you knew is you had to go see what would happen, what's going on.
yeah, it was quite a tricky situation. I mean, I went to hospital and had X-rays, and the doctors were astounded. They're saying, looking at the state of your head now, because I sort of like bumps on my head, they were just out here. We can't understand why we're not operating on you now. We can't understand why you've got no fracture on your skull, you've got no concussion, you're talking to us, your eyes are perfect. We can't understand it. You should be on the operating table now.
Yeah.
So I used to play rugby, so it probably made me a bit
Tough
tougher.
cooking.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, impact sports do build your skeletal system up, and that's I think what saved me. But the thing was is that as the physical injuries healed in about 3 or 4 months, but as they were healing, my mental illness were going that way.
Mm,
That was going, never going out to. I just literally, I basically quit training. I said, I'm not training ever again. How can I teach people to train when I can't defend myself?
mm,
There was about 20 of them. Who do I think I am realistically? But my mental injuries they just went out of control. They went off the scale. I went through a personality change. I went from being quite a nice person to being nasty. I became so argumentative. I became so aggressive. I became everything I wasn't. I became. My wife would say something to me and I'd snap at her. I lost bits of my memory. So she'd say to them, remember the time when I went to the zoo? No. When I went to the zoo and we were in the bat house and that bat got in Heather's hair. No, I don't remember that. Yeah, you do. It did. And no, I didn't. And then I'd start snapping. I don't remember, sort of thing. So I went through this personality change and it was horrendous. And I just kept going spiraling down and down and down. And then around about 2020, I sort of like had a bit of a renaissance and came back to myself a bit. And I looked around and I looked at the horrendous mess I've caused me. The business had gone because I hadn't done anything. I hadn't paid any bills. I hadn't done anything. I hadn't done any work. I'd just been a complete in my own world. But I thought, well, I can draw down on my pension. I'm 60 now, so I'll draw down my pension, and then I'll use that to pay the house off, and I'll worry about the future later. So I went to draw down my pension, and I found out that the pension company had done one with the Dosh.
mm,
So the pension company had run off with the pension fund.
mm. Wow.
So that really put the cat amongst the pigeons. So 2023, 2023 last year, I struggled a bit longer. We went through a bit of a court case, which we eventually lost. 2023 was horrendous. I just went so far down. I went so far down. I really did. I didn't care about anything. I got to the stage. I don't want to depress everybody. I got to the stage where I was in the dojo one day and I found myself stood on the chair with a rope around my neck, and I don't know how I got there. And the rope was obviously tied to a beam on the ceiling. Don't know how I got there. Really don't. I really can't. You were to tell me how, I have no idea. All I remember is that I'd gone to the dojo to do some work. I put a note on the door, do not open, call the police. I'd locked the door on the inside. I'd got a rope, I'd fastened it to a beam, I put it around my neck, and I was stood in the chair. And that's when I remember. Obviously, I didn't jump. And then, but I kept all this in. I didn't tell anybody. I was going through this turmoil and I didn't tell anybody. Then at the start of 2024, around about the 15th of January. I went to the doctors and something unrelated, and my wife was with me, Rachel was with me, and then there was a young female doctor, and then there was another female trainee doctor in the room. And I walked in, said all my laws. Yeah, how's everybody doing? Blah, blah, you do. And then just had a breakdown, just fell apart. I actually remember waking up, sat on the floor, covered in tears and snot, for want of a better phrase. I just had this total breakdown. Everything, all the time, everything came out, everything. And then I got home, I was totally ashamed, I was guilty, I was embarrassed, I was, you name it, I mean, I'm 6'1" tall at the time. I was, ex-rugby league player, Ju-jitsu, black belt, crying in front of 3 women like a baby. What more can my mind do to me? So I got home, I locked myself in my bedroom. I said to Rach, don't come in the bedroom, I'm going up, I'll come down when I'm ready. And I just unpicked everything. I just had a total mindset change. I went straight from suicidal to just a full 180. I fought all my demons. I fought and beat all my demons. And it got to the stage I was in the bedroom telling them to bring it on, bring it on. I went downstairs. I said to Rach, it ends now. I'm not living my life like this anymore. It ends now. And she just put her arms around me and said, go for it, babe. And since then, it's been amazing. Life's been amazing. I saw my grandson because he was born a couple of years before. He used to come to the house and I was okay with him and played with him and one thing or other, and we fixed things together. I saw him for the first time in January. Saw him through proper eyes, through my eyes, the first time in 2 years. He was 2-year-old. He's an amazing little kid. We had another little girl, granddaughter, which I hadn't really seen, but we've now got another one from the other daughter, who's amazing. So that's part of my story. That's the gory part, so on of a better phrase. Where do you go from there? How do you rebuild your life? I had two choices. I had a choice. I don't like two choices. I always think it's one. You have one choice, but you have two options. I had a choice. I either carried on sinking down, or I changed what I'm doing. So I thought, I don't know about anybody else, but I've flirted quite a lot with the online world. When I say flirted, I mean I've failed a lot. I've tried something and failed, and I've failed and tried something again and tried something again and kept trying and failing and failing and trying and failing and trying. And you get disillusioned. You think it's all a big scam. It's all a big farce. They say, you write on what you can do online, how you can do this, how you can do that, how you can make money, and nothing works. But it wasn't the online. It's not online that was a problem. I was a problem. I didn't have the knowledge or the skill set to do that. I didn't know what I was doing online. I was just bumbling about. So I decided I'd find somebody to help me, a mentor, so to speak. And it's that strange. I think it is C. Tongue or someone who says when the student's ready, the master will appear. Well, he did. I was ready to learn, and all of a sudden this guy just appeared. From somebody else. Somebody said, I'll talk to this guy. Well, I don't know you. Why should I listen to you? But you're 15. And a little Peter who lived in Kenya. He's probably a lot older now, but he looked about 15, a little skinny kid telling me what to do. I mean, I was 62-year-old. How can he tell me what to do? You know what I mean? What life experience has he got? But you know what? I did listen to him. He's my mate now. I tell you, he's a great guy. He's so focused. And so what is it? He's so focused on what he wants, and he's so positive, and you know what I mean. And he's saying he said, "Yeah, talk to him." So I did eventually, and I said to Matt, "Matt, you don't want to be involved with me. I'm a basket case. You don't want to be involved with me. I'll drag you down." He said, "Yeah, we'll see. Perhaps we can work on your story and one thing or other, and we can bring that out to the fore, and we can." And I've been with him ever since. That's been in the 7-hour training session with this afternoon. He said a couple of things to me, and one of them was, as I just said, you haven't got a money problem, you've got a skills problem. No, I've not got a money problem. No, because if you had the skills, you could earn the money.
Hmm.
You haven't got a problem with online. You've just got a problem with how to work online. You haven't got the knowledge or the skills. All right, I'll run with that one. And it was totally right, 100% right. Is that people who are struggling online are in business or to make money, you've not got a money problem. You have got a skills problem. Learn the skills you need to get and achieve what you want. I mean, it's like when you took up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you didn't go to a rowing club, did you?
Hmm.
You know, you went to a club where they do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's where you learn your skills from. People who learn traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, they come to me. If you want to learn French, you don't go to a German class. And that's exactly what I was doing before. I was online and I was sifting through loads of stuff and just not getting anywhere. Now, since I've been working with Matt, my mind is focused. 7 months I've been working with him. I've created my own online course now. You know, I'm actually on a video and I'm talking to you on a podcast. If you look at all my early posts when I first started, they're all stock images. I would never put my face on Facebook or social media. Never. It would be an image or a cartoon image or a picture of a chair because it's more interesting than me. So I thought my self-esteem was that way because, as I said, the jiu-jitsu was part of my mental health because I believed I should have been able to handle that situation. I believed that because I couldn't handle that situation, I'm not worthy to teach the kids or the students. I believe that the first strike I did on the guy, which was a nasty one, I should have had restraint. All my thought processes, everything I'd come to believe that was soul, that was me, went out the window that night. And that is why I allowed myself to drop so far down and went with the PTSD rising. Am I, do they call it guilty? I can't remember what they call it now. There's a phrase for it about you feel guilty about something you had to do that you were basically forced to do.
Remorse.
It's a form of remorse, yeah, but it's not quite moral guilt. I think they called it. I was they're talking about it in therapy on Monday because I'm in therapy from a PTSD, and that was basically that because that's what caused me to go down so much. The jiu-jitsu and the rugby, I can look after myself. And I wasn't a nasty person, but I was dead confident. You know, I could win a pub, a bar, and I'd look around. And within 5 or 10 minutes of being in the bar, I'd be talking to people, no problems. I could get a conversation with anybody, or I'd be doing stuff, and always confident, always able to talk to people, really gregarious. But everything went. I just went totally the other way around. I became aggressive and nasty. Didn't want to talk to people. There are some things I can't do. I won't. I won't go to football matches or rugby matches at the moment because there's a crowd there. I don't like being in a crowd. I had to. I went in for a minor procedure, the hospital the other week, and they wouldn't do it because as soon as I got in the operating theatre, I weren't in control, and my blood pressure shot up because I was in. I went, and I'm looking around at everybody thinking.
Yeah.
So it's a few little issues I need to work on. But what I've learned is people, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people in similar situations to myself who, not that they were involved in an altercation, but who were having anxieties because they're at work or they're approaching retirement and they're terrified of retirement. Have they got enough funds to see them through? What's the lifestyle going to be like afterwards? This is the people I like to talk to. These people are they're starting to feel worthless because I'm literally 2 years from retirement now. It was 2 years. It's gone up another 2 years, so I'm 4 years, and I feel the same way. How am I going to survive retirement? That was until I met Matt. Now working online, I don't know whether you work online. Do you deal? It's a it's a good mind if you know what to do and if you're willing to be a samurai, and that is serve people. If you're willing to serve people and work with people and help people to get what they want, and you'll get what you want. And that's that's how I do. That's how I work now. One thing I will say to particularly blokes, any bloke really, because we're brought up with that macho image, aren't we? Hey, big boys don't cry, and well, put your big boy pants on and all that. If you've got a problem, guys, don't suffer in silence. Do not suffer in silence. For a beer, can we go for a coffee? Can we just go and sit and just tell them? Tell them. My wife's left me, and I'm having really problems. I'm not coping very well. This has happened. I'm not coping very well. People will listen to you. People will help you. And as soon as you talk, as soon as you start talking, it makes it so much easier. I wish that I'd spoken up earlier because I wouldn't have gone where I went. But having said that, I also think where I went defined me for where I am now.
Yeah, I think first of all, thank you for sharing. I even though I'm way younger than you, I understand deeply, deeply. Even in my young age, there's a lot of obstacles I had to overcome, traumas I had to go through, right?
Yeah,
But that's the thing, we sit in this silence and it eats us up. And it's not a silence and we're like it's quiet, you know? It's full of doubt and desperation and causes anxiety and fear. And one cannot uphold alone. And yet we do. And we act like nothing is happening. But the only way to get out of that place is we have to we have to go through it and
mhm.
understand that, the biggest gift we can receive is failure. Because without failure, you wouldn't understand what you're trying to accomplish.
100% with that.
You
100%.
you would not understand what your vision is. You have to fail. That's the most in you know important untold rule that civilization has not expressed that through failure you have to go through this. You know,
It fit.
you went through up your downs, and yet, here you're at 62, Samurai Ju-jitsu, going to therapy, speaking to all these individuals going through something, becoming the support you always needed,
Yeah, yeah,
you
that's a
know?
good phrase. That's a good phrase. See, I liken it now to a balloon because when you're in that frame of mind, negative feeds up negative. You don't see the positive. Every little negative thought, every little negative happening, things like things as stupid as you spill your drink, it builds up, it becomes a negative, and it feeds on this negative entity that's growing in your mind. And I like myself, I was like a balloon, and I was being inflated and inflated, and sooner or later that balloon was going to burst. And I know in my heart of heart, if I hadn't changed in January when I suddenly decided to do the 180 because of the circumstances, then I would have gone through. Next time I was still on the chair, I wouldn't have stepped off. I would have just jumped off. I know I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have made it this far if I hadn't changed. And that would have devastated the devastation that would have caused, a nuclear effect that would have caused on my family and friends. It just doesn't bear thinking about.
Mhm. And most importantly, that's not your story. That's not your ending,
No,
you
that's not the
know?
ending. No, the ending is amazing because what I'm doing now with the program I got in place, which is I call it the entrepreneurial anxiety program, is designed at people who they want to work online, and I'm not trying to tell people, do this online, do that online, do the other online. My goal is that people who want to work online, but they have stigma. They worry about the stigma attached with it. They worry where they're going to start. This is a real basic starter program that says basically, I'm not going to tell you what to do online or what to sell or do this, but I want to give you the basic skills you need to make a start.
Yeah. This is
Because
this is the Elderpernuer program you're
yeah,
offering,
yeah,
correct?
yeah, it's just a basic program, and it'll give you the three what I call three basic pillars of online mark of working online. The three essential pillars that I believe you need, which is first of all your why. You need to have a why. Why are you doing it? What is your reason for being there? What is your reason for wanting to go on there? What is your reason to want to do this extra work? Oh yeah, it's fun when you get going, but it's such a terrifying place to start. And my biggest advice to somebody who wants to start, just do something.
Mm-hmm.
Don't matter if you do it wrong, just do it. Because if you do it wrong, like you said, failure is a part of learning. You don't learn unless you fail.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. But find your why. Find your why. And the funny thing is that I had a why when I first started. My why was, I want to earn some extra money. I want to create a secondary income. We've heard that before. I want a new car. No, that's not your why. That's just a superficial want. Your why, and I'm talking about this deep down ingrained why, the one that's in your soul, the one that is really buried down deep inside you. And it takes a lot of effort to drag out. And it is such an emotional journey. I was actually terrified. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to answer the questions. And I tried to get out of it. But it was actually so emotional and so soul searching. My wife started off, I need to earn some extra money. My wife finished up as, I want to use my jiu-jitsu club to help people, young men in trouble, young girls in trouble, women who are being abused at home in domestic relationships, bad relationships. I want to use that as a training ground, and I want to bring certain amount of people in every year, 10, 12 people, depending on the funding, and give them training, full scholarship for 12 months. We can teach them jiu-jitsu up to orange belt in that time. That's 3 belts. But more than that, we can give them self-esteem back. We can teach them to self-discipline. We can do some physical training with them. We can work with them. We can get the mindset right. We can work on the mindset in 12 months. But I need funding to do that. And this is what my why was. This is what came out of me. It was quite horrendous, but when it came out of me, it was just like, it was like an epiphany. It was strange. Not, I want some extra money. No, I want to go on holiday twice a year. But that was my why. Yeah, I've got to look after myself. I've got to get my bills back on track. I've got to get all that paid off as well. But that is my 12 to 18 month goal that I will be doing that. I'll be going down to places where people are struggling, Andy's Man Club and things like that, or battered
You
lady.
wanted it to help you give you a better purpose.
Yeah, yeah. But giving me a better purpose gives them a better purpose. Then giving them a better purpose gives me a better purpose. So I help them and they help me. So
I
that's
keep,
the first.
I keep telling my guests, right, and friends and family member, the best thing you can do in life is be useful
Yeah,
in a good
100%.
way. That's when,
100%.
that's when it's like when I first had my son and I realized it wasn't about me no more. And then throughout the years, I started developing these goals, these dreams, these visions, because in developing those goals, that vision is helping me serve a purpose for a greater tomorrow.
And that's a big mindset shift, isn't it, when you have a child? Because when I married Rach and she brought the 2 kids with her, it was like, well, that was a big mindset shift for me because I was 40-year-old and all of a sudden I had 2 kids. When we got our own, that was another mindset shift as well. All of a sudden I had one of these little noisy things that has no sense of responsibility at one end and noise at the other end. And I had to be responsible for that. And it's a big, in it. It's quite terrifying experience for you.
Yeah.
But we take it in our stride, don't we? Because we learn to adapt, learn to move on. So that was the why. That's what I teach. I teach how to get this why out, to pull this why out. The second part of the course is it's about mindset. We all know mindset. We all have our mindsets, and we all believe, And again, people say, "Yeah, you can do anything. You can achieve anything you want to achieve." Yes, you can, but you have to work for it. You have to. It's not just going to happen just because you think it happens. Like I've got a book here, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Well, you can't just think and grow rich. You have to think, act action, then grow rich. It's having that inner self that you're going to do the work as well. Um, I deal with limiting beliefs a lot. I love dealing with limiting beliefs, which is what limited belief. How many times people on a daily basis, when confronted with something they've never done before, I can't do it. You can't do it. You never done it before. Yeah, well, I can't do it. Yeah, well, if you haven't done it before, you don't know you can't do it. Yeah, I can't do it. That's limiting belief. They're telling themselves, they're programming themselves that they can't do something that they've never done. I get that all the time with the club, particularly when we'll have a new starter coming in and we'll show them the break falls. And I'll say that by the end of the lesson, you'll be doing this. No, I won't be doing that. Can't do that. Yeah, you can. No, I can't. But the process that we use, by the end of the lessons, they can do the front, both sides and the back break falls because that's part of the process. One of the best way to describe a limiting belief because people is Roger Bannister run a mile in under 4 minutes. Now, scientists and everyone believed it couldn't be done. Believed it couldn't be done. The human body could not run that fast over that length, that distance. That your lungs are bursting, your heart are bursting, you die. Well, he did it. He did it in under 4 minutes, 3 minutes 58, I think it was. The following year, another 15 people did it. Why? Because he brought the belief. He brought the belief that it couldn't be done. Now everybody does it. Now you can't be an Olympic runner unless you can run it under far less than that. Now can you?
Yeah.
Nobody
How
runs
would
4 minute
you?
miles in the
Yeah.
Olympics anymore.
How would you know if you never tried?
That's exactly it.
You
We
know.
don't know what we're capable of. We do not know what they're capable of, and sometimes what they're capable of comes out in times of stress, or other times it comes out in times of encouragement by talking to people, helping people to change their mindset, helping people to flip that switch over, and teaching them that why have you got this limiting belief? Why have you got a limiting belief about money? Because you come from a poor household or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a matter of getting them to look back inside themselves and find out what's the source of that problem. And then the third part is the bit I like is the story. Everybody has a story. Everybody's a lot of the stuff on the internet is the same. Everybody's competing with the same thing. But nobody can compete with your story because your story is unique. Everybody's story is unique to the next person's. And if you're brave enough, and not so much clever enough, but if you're brave enough and you'll tell your story and you'll tell it warts and all, you'll go through the bad times. You'll tell people about because people like the bad times, don't they? I mean, every film you watch, the hero always goes through a real bad time, doesn't he? He's down there in the mire, but somehow he manages to get himself out there and save the day. If you can tell your story honestly and uniquely, and tell people that look, no matter how bad your life is at the moment, it will get better. It doesn't have to remain bad. It doesn't have to remain bad. No matter where you come from or what you're going through, you can change your life if you apply yourself. I did. And seriously, deal. If I can do it, anyone can do it. I changed. And if anyone can do if I can do it, I'm living proof that no matter where you are, I was literally a step away from not being here.
Yeah.
If I can come back from that, anybody can come back from it. We can. All you need is knowledge, skill development, and guidance.
I'm into that. And this is where we
That's
need
all.
more. This is where we need more individuals like yourself because I think society has shown one thing, and is that once we're used, we're no longer needed.
Yeah.
And the more we have individuals like yourself that have the courage, right, to come on these
Thank you.
platforms like mine and others and tell your story. Let it be marked in the internet that this is not the end, you know? And once you realize, it's that saying, a man realized he has two lives once he realized he just started his second one. or something of that
Yeah,
nature, right? Because we live in this life is all about perspective. Whether you're rich, you're broke, wealthy or not, like it's all about perspective. What people perceiving, right? And a lot of times people tend to show you something that's not them instead
yeah,
of instead of showing them. Be self, be a better version of yourself each and every day. Accept change. Change is not always bad.
change is. I believe that if you're not changing and evolving, then you're stagnating and devolving. You're
Hmm.
going backwards. You need to
Yeah.
constantly change. You need to be moving like that. And like I said before, if you want to do something on the internet, you want to learn whatever affiliate marketing or just be an internet entrepreneur or whatever. Because once I give people that basis, they can then choose which way they want to go. Because people my age coming to retirement, they have fantastic life skills. They have amazing life skills.
Yes.
Why
I have
take
so
them?
much to teach.
Yeah, why take them life skills out of the gene pool? Literally, learn how to do it and create your own business online using your skills that you've done every day of your life for the last 40 years. We live in a disposable ink. We live in a disposable society. Everything we get now is disposable. Printers,
Hmm.
bottles, everything we do is disposable. TVs are disposable. Everything.
Hmm.
It's not right to dispose of humans,
Yeah. I
people.
say, I say this, build, if you're flexible, build it online, but also when you can, go outside
Yeah.
because like even one, goals, right? Everyone has goals. One day I want to take this on the road. One day I want to go visit you in London, right? Over there. Like go outside because nobody's outside. And
No,
and
no.
we need more individual to step outside and put corrections to things that need changing. And you can't expect even though the young generation is the future, they still don't know it all. In
In
order
all
for,
fairness, so did I when I was their age.
yeah, they like and for them to get to where you're at, they have to go through it. They're still not going through it.
No.
So it's our job, those who have gone through it, like yourself. You're when you sit down and you teach and you tell your story. We need that. That's very important because what's going on in the internet, it's nonsense.
Hmm. No, I agree. I agree. There's two ways to use social media in it. You can use social media, as you said, just for total nonsense and trolling people and being nasty, or
Hmm.
you can use social media for a good aspect. But I'm building my business on social media, um, but I I I detest I detest these posts that you get where people are using bad language on them and and they're just slagging people off. Why? What is that going to achieve in the grand scheme of things? Is it really necessary? If you haven't got a good word to say about somebody, then don't say it. It's pointless.
Yeah,
It just creates animosity and bad feeling, and it's unnecessary. It's supposed to be social media, not anti-social media.
yeah. But how would they know if the voice of one generation is not taken serious? This is where you got to take a stand, and you got to say we're still here and we matter. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Particularly, people who are approaching retirement or recently retired, they've got skills that the younger generation aren't going to develop for years. And I'm not saying they're better than them because they've done the time. They deserve a little bit of respect, in my opinion. But they've got skills that they can teach people. They've got if somebody's in a pain point, somebody who's approaching retirement has the answer for their pain, and they can say, "I've been through that." It's like somebody with me. Somebody who said to me, I'm really depressed. How can I build an online business when I'm depressed? Well,
Hmm.
just come and talk to me. I did. with the right people behind you and the right knowledge and develop the right skills, you can do it.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. It takes a lot of hard work, but nobody's died of hard work, have they? Well, probably have. Who's afraid of hard work?
Yeah.
You know, but it's hard work. Hard work for me is I spent 7 hours on the PC today on a training course. That was hard work. The other week, I drove up to Newcastle to do a job which is 150 miles from where I live. I did the job 2 hours and then I drove back and I got stuck on the motorway or the freeway, as you call it, for 3.5 hours in a traffic jam accident, so to speak. That's hard work to me now. Sitting in front of my PC screen, talking to people and interacting on a training course is not really hard work. It's just time consuming. You know, people think that if they're building an online business that they have to have an office and people and staff. No, you need you and a PC. That's all you need, and a bit of commitment. But society to me is. I'm not one for violence, but I honestly think that people need guidance, particularly younger people. And I'm not being nasty. I'm not against younger people because I've got 3 kids. They need guidance. They need to know what's right, and what's wrong. They need boundaries. They need to know they can do this, but they can't do that because it's wrong. They can't go around stealing off people because it's wrong. They can't go around harassing people and throwing bricks through people's windows because it's wrong. It's
You know,
easier to help somebody. It's as
I
easy
have,
to help somebody. It's
I
to hinder somebody.
often, I often tell people do something difficult and keep doing it and do it for a long period of time. And then sit back and ask yourself, how much are you worth? Right? Because a lot of times, like men, and majority of us, in order us to grow, pain is our teacher. We learn through pain and suffering to get to the other
Yeah,
side, right? A lot of young
yeah,
individuals want the worth without understanding what the worth is. They want to go to a job and say, I want $30 an hour,
yeah.
but don't know what that amount of work consists of. What is it worth? You got to go through the ringer.
We live in a society of instant gratification. When I was a kid, if I wanted something, I had to wait for the birthday or Christmas.
Yeah, or you had to work for it.
Now, I had to work for it. Yeah, I missed that bit out. Now it's instant. Kids want it instantly. They want a new phone, and my phone's about 40 year old. I'm a dinosaur. My phone, no, it's not that, but it's not. I don't need a top of the range phone. I drop it most of the time. It falls in my pocket or things like that. But they have to have these top of the range phones every 2 years. They have to have a new phone, a new phone, a new phone, a new phone. Why? What's wrong with the one you've got? It's just about keeping up or being ahead of your peers. I've got a better phone than her. I've got a better phone. I've got a better pair of football boots than him, or whatever. It's just pointless.
Mark, I get it, Mark.
Sorry, kids.
I I,
I'm sorry, kids.
I get it, Mark.
I
No,
don't
no
need to keep that
apologize. I
time.
get it, Mark. It's not easy. It's not easy. But this is why you created the platform you're creating to become an outreach and where people can reach you and you could give them your support. Where can
Yeah.
where can everyone find your
Right.
website, your program, like
The easiest place to find me is on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Mark Coope online. And my second name, Coope, is spelled Charlie Oscar Oscar Papa Echo. So Mark Coope online. You can also find me on YouTube, which is youtube.com at the elderprenuer.com. And I'm not spelling that. I should have picked something easier to spell, like.
no, but Elderpreneur, it's an amazing name. So good kudos to you.
They can also find me if they want to go look at the program at www.theelderpreneur.com.
Boom.
So, and that's the program offer that I've got at the moment.
All right, and
Well,
tell them to find if they're in your area, tell them to find where they can find Samurai Ju-jitsu. Let them know.
oh, Samurai Ju-jitsu, yeah, it's at I've forgotten, I've forgotten. Um, you've got me
You can go to
because
info at
the post the
Jiu-Jitsu.
postcode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find me at www.jujitsuoldham.co.uk. That's
Boom.
jujitsuoldham.co.uk. And we are on Priory Mill on it's OL9 9EW. If you need to come down there and have a look.
Do you have any social medias for your for
Yes, I have Samurai Jiu-Jitsu. It's facebook.com/Samurai Jiu-Jitsu.
Instagram, just Facebook?
Just Facebook at the moment because I'm not very good at Instagram.
All
Sometimes
right.
I'm
Well,
just learning.
well,
But I mean, people can always email me. They want to have some information about it, which is mark.coope@gmail.com. Nice and simple.
well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, thank you for joining me. It's been a wonderful time. Thank you for sharing your amazing journey. I appreciate it, and hopefully this can help others transition like you did.
I hope so, yeah. And the one thing I'd say, Justin, I mean, it's been a fantastic talking to you, but one thing I would just say just before I leave is if you're struggling, guys and gals, just talk to somebody. Just talk to somebody. It will make all the difference in your life. It may even save your life. Just talk. But thank you very much for listening to me and putting up with me. And it's been a fantastic experience. I really enjoyed it. And all you people out there, just stay safe and talk to somebody.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, once again, thank you. Make sure to go follow me on Instagram, Mr. Go follow me on Facebook, Mark King Diaz. Go like and subscribe our YouTube channel, DIOTALK TV. I'm out, guys. Have a good night.